workshop for sustainable taranaki. My name's Dee Turner from Karito Education, and today I'm going to show you how to build a worm farm, probably for under about 35 bucks. So to start with, I've got 3 fish bins. You can pick them up for about 10 bucks each. I was really lucky, managed to get them on special with lids. But if you've got to pay for the lids separately, then it could cost you a bit more. To begin with, I started off by drilling a hole in this first box. So I've got a drill bit, drilled the hole straight through to exactly the same size as the tap that I wanted to put into it. I picked up the tap just at a second-hand shop. You can buy them from Mitre 10, but again that's going to add to the cost. I think they cost about 10 bucks new. This was just a couple of dollars. So anyway, op shop, second-hand shop. So you're just going to put it in and tighten it up on the other side, and you've got your bottom tank for your vermijuice. So the vermijuice is what comes out of the worm farm, and it's water that's filtered through all of the vermicast that's in it, and it comes out either as quite a light coloured liquid, like this one, just about the colour of weak tea, or it comes out much darker, and the colour of your vermicast is all dependent on your vermijuice, is all dependent on what you actually put through your worm farm. So we've got our bottom layer. The next thing we do is to put on one of the lids and put the next box on, and change out your drill. We're then going to drill straight through the boxes and through the lid as well. So we're going to drill straight through, and you can see that I've put through quite a number of holes, and I'm going to sit that on top. Now this box is going to be the box where all of the worm activity takes place, and you're going to start by putting in some bedding material. And the easiest and cheapest bedding material is putting in just some newspaper. You could use cardboard. The very best bedding that you can put in here for your worms is not to start off by just putting in vegetable scraps, because they won't be that enthralled with those to start with. What you've got to do is to put in worm lollies to start with. And the best worm lollies that you can give them is actually animal manure. So I've got some horse manure here, and that's what I'm going to put in. So horse manure has gone in, so that's just the perfect lollies for worms. Next, I'm actually going to put my worms in. You don't need to spend an awful lot of money putting worms into a worm farm. You can just go to a friend's worm farm and take out just a handful of worms, and that's enough really. If we have a look at this, we've got a number of worms. You can just see them there, and that's enough to just start off our worm farm. So we're going to put them straight onto our lollies, and the next thing we're going to do, because they really don't like the light, is we are going to cover them. And we can cover them with a coffee sack, or we can cover them with this lovely wool underlay, and then we can put a lid on the top. So that's now a perfectly functioning worm farm. So why exactly do we need this third one here? This has got to do with when we start to harvest some of the vermicast that's in here. And worm vermicast is one of the best types of fertiliser for your garden. You see there's a little worm just coming out of this one here. It's It's been broken down as far as it can possibly be broken down. I can even feel the smoothness through the plastic gloves here. You can see there are a few eggshells in here, and it's a fantastic fertilizer for your garden. If we go back to that vermijuice, and we have a look at the difference in colour, I said that the difference in colour was all to do with what we actually feed our worms. So if all we put in was animal manure, we're going to get quite a dark vermiliquid. If what we use were vegetable scraps and fruits, then we're going to get a much lighter vermijuice coming out. We can create more vermijuice by actually diluting this in water to the colour of weak tea, and this is the perfect colour to be putting on our garden. We're not going to harm any of our plants if we dilute the vermijuice down to this colour. So this is perfect. If we've got the much darker one here, we need to take some water or pour this into our watering can and water it down until it's that colour. We can then water it all the way around our garden. But that's in the future for this particular worm farm. So how am I going to harvest both the vermicast and the vermijuice from this worm farm? Well, one of the best things that I can do is to have another fish bin or anything else you feel like putting it up onto, just to get it off the ground. So our worm farm is now off the ground, and it's very easy to put a can underneath for collecting the liquid that comes through here. One thing that people do is they tend to want to water their worm farm, and that's really a no-no. If you are putting in lots of vegetables and fruit scraps, it means that there's enough moisture in here and you don't need to be watering it. If you're putting quite dry materials in here, then that's the only time that you really need to water. So where does this third bin come in? Well, once this is full of vermicast and your worms are really happy, starting to break down all of that waste from your kitchen, every time you put waste in, you're going to lift this off, you're going to lift this up, and you're going to put your waste on top of that. So what sort of materials do worms like to eat? So these are the perfect worm materials. We have grass clippings, we have veggie food waste, we have some great coffee grounds here, particularly good for the gizzard. It helps them to digest food. We've got some cardboard, we've got some newspaper, we've got some animal manure here, and we've got some eggshells as well. All great food for worms. This in particular, putting in carbon in the form of cardboard and newspaper, is really important for the worms to create a very balanced vermicast. So if all you've been putting in is veggie and fruit waste, start to rip up bits of newspaper and put those in as well. Materials not to put in your worm farm. Worms breathe through their skin. They really don't like things like bread and pasta. They don't like anything to do with citrus. Alliums like onions are completely out for your worm farm. They don't like acid food, so they certainly won't like your leftover curry, and they don't like tomatoes either. And banana skins have a lot of chemicals on them. They get sprayed as they come into New Zealand, and they're really not good for your worms. These are much better off thrown around your fruit trees. So we have fed our worms right the way up to the top. They're making lots and lots of vermicast, and we need to be able to harvest this vermicast And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is by putting this next one on. So we take off our lid that hasn't got the holes in it, and we put on another lid and our next box. We're then going to take our drill again, we're going to drill through, and we're going to create this next box up. Now we have to entice the worms up into this next box and away from this box that they're still working on. How do we do that? Well, more lollies really. So what you need to do is to get some more bedding material, so some more cardboard. Again, another layer of, in this case it's horse manure. Put that in, and then it will take somewhere between 4 and 5 weeks for the worms to move up into this one and leave this one here alone. Once the worms are up here, and you'll know that they're up here because you'll move some of the material and you'll see them happily at work, you just put them to one side, pick up this one. You'll still have materials that have not broken down on the top here. Oh, something I should have said is move this to the top one as well. You'll probably have about a box half full of vermicast and lots of materials still on top that haven't broken down. Just take off those materials, put them into your top box, then you can remove this box full of your vermicast, put this box back on, and put your lid without the holes back on, and off you go again. So happy worm farming.